You are listening to New Vision, Old Ways, the podcast that explores timeless wisdom for the modern mind in a fun, relaxed, and most important, interactive way with you, the listener. I am your host, Tony Marinaccio, and let's get the episode started. Welcome, everyone, to another great episode of New Vision, Old Ways, and I am so happy that you are joining me for what could be described as a life transition episode. But first, I would like to once again say thank you to all the listeners out there. I have had some great feedback from many of you, and I love hearing about what you love about the podcast and what you'd like to hear in the future. And as this thing grows, I will be getting into many other related subjects coming up along with a guest here and there. So a lot of cool things coming up. So keep the suggestions coming, and I always want to know what's on your mind, and the suggestions really help me focus on what is important to many of you out there, and that, of course, is the point, right? So what is on tap for today? Well, we have been going over many areas where we can go from feeling a bit lost in our lives to focusing on a positive new future with a new vision for the life we really want. Now that we have that new vision, now what? What's next? How do we put our words and thoughts into action? Well, that's exactly what I will be discussing today. And it's great to have a new mindset, but we need to use that new mindset to move forward. So let's find out what we could do to put everything that we've been talking about for 15 episodes into some real forward action. So let's get episode 16, the Sweet 16, started. You have a new mindset. Now what? If you have been listening to the previous episodes, we have discussed many ways to get out of a defeating mindset, how to change the way we think, and how to use those skills to get a new mindset and have a positive view of how we want our future to be. If you are lucky and you can immediately transition those skills into action and you are able to start working towards your dreams, then congratulations. That is amazing. But if you are like many people, and I am including myself in this category for sure, going from thinking about a better future and actually putting those thoughts into action can be a daunting task. And believe me, I have gone through that many times. So I know the pain of that. That is why I feel this episode is so important. Doing the work of changing your way and your mindset, of getting that new vision for your life cannot and should not be wasted. But many times it is. How many diets have been started and abandoned quickly? How many gym memberships have been paid for but almost never used? How many classes have people signed up for, maybe even completed the class, but nothing was done with that new knowledge? We see it all the time. And I know life stuff sneaks in and can easily derail us. I get it. But there are ways we can make sure we not only get on track to accomplishing our dreams, but stay on track, even with the hiccups along the way. I want to start with a truly basic thing that I really believe is important. We have gone over ways to look inside yourself and listen to your inner voice and realize what is important to you, what your dreams really are. So the first thing we should do in order to put our thoughts and words into action is to write down, and I suggest actually writing it down on paper, your why. Your why statement. Why do you want to do what it is that you are dreaming about? Once you have determined the why, you will not need anyone else to push you along. Writing it down and seeing that why every day should excite you, should energize you. It should help you stay focused on the journey. So many people focus on how everything needs to end up perfect as you go. And folks, very few things are going to go perfect all the time. Your why should be a strong statement that will give you the ability to be excited about the journey you are on, not on the exact level of success, not on perfection, not on people's validation, but on the journey. And if you have ever gone on a big vacation, it almost never goes as planned. Plane delays, hotel issues, weather conditions, illnesses can all affect the plans. But many times what you thought your vacation would look like ended up being so different. But if you had an open mindset, that issue that caused your plans to change have, at least in my experience, they have led to some exciting times that would have never happened if it wasn't for that issue. Point is, it's the journey and the small accomplishments along the way that could build to an experience you didn't even think was possible. I know it sounds overly simple, but at the very minimum, writing down your why and being able to see it in front of you can be a big motivational factor and help you push through any difficulties along the way. In previous episodes, I also talked about awareness of your inner self. We must not lose sight of what we dug so deep to find out about ourselves. So writing out your why statement, which is, akin to a business mission statement, keeps us in tune with what we became so aware of about ourselves. Remember, that inner voice is helped you get to this point right now. Let's never lose sight of that why mission statement. After you have determined the why, there are many things that can help take the fear out of what's next. There are many reasons why people can't get over the hump of starting on a new path. I believe the biggest issue is fear of failure.
So I just kind of work without fear because it's fun for me. It's like if I fail, it's no big deal. If something don't work out, I'm not afraid of failure, because to me, I never feel like a loser. Even when I've lost, I still, feel like I'm winning, because I'm earning some sort of experience and something that I can use somewhere else.
If you didn't recognize that iconic voice, that was Dolly Parton, and her attitude towards fear of failure is amazing. Fear, like depression, can mentally paralyze us, and we can go from being excited about the future to completely shutting down and finding every excuse why we cannot proceed with our dream. If fear really gets to you, that's okay. We all experience that in one degree or another. Don't beat yourself up over it. And here is a technique that can ease that fear and help you get past the starting blocks. So one technique is called goal mind mapping. This can really work, but you have to have an open mind and allow yourself to step out of your normal way of thinking. And this can truly shape your next steps. Goal mind mapping involves creating a diagram that visually represents your goals and the steps needed to achieve them. The process typically starts with a central theme or main goal, which then branches out into sub-goals and tasks. Stick with me on this because this will help you see the relationships between different goals and identify the steps required to reach them. In previous episodes, I went over how gaining knowledge about what you want to accomplish is so empowering. Reading, researching, talking to people who have experience in that path all help to give you an idea of what is involved as you go. This knowledge can make the technique of goal mind mapping so important, and here's why. A way to do this, and of course your way may vary, but start with writing down your main goal in the center of a blank page. Remember, this is not an art project. You will not be graded on this. This could truly be for your eyes only. The main goal is the primary objective you want to achieve. Then create branches for sub-goals. Draw branches from the central goal to represent sub-goals or key areas that contribute to achieving the main goal. These can be different aspects of your life, such as personal development, career, health, or even relationships. Now, break down those sub-goals into tasks. For each sub-goal, create a smaller branch that lists specific tasks or actions needed to accomplish that sub-goal. This can be a huge help because you can then break down complex goals into manageable steps. This could be so very important for managing anxiety and fear of looking at it as just one big mountain to climb. Remember, this is a journey, and we need to take it step by step. Now it's time to add details and deadlines, including details such as resources needed and potential challenges. And a key here is to also add deadlines. Of course, allowing for a bit of flexibility is okay, but actually sticking as close to the deadlines with a few adjustments is so important in staying on task. All of this makes your mind map more actionable and realistic. As you begin to follow your mind map, it is a good idea to review the map as needed and make adjustments. Flexibility as I mentioned, is great, but don't allow procrastination to determine when you do things. Procrastinating can be a big cause of anxiety for people because the longer you put it off, the more difficult the action will be. And going back to your written down why statement should help you through overcoming procrastination and keeping you on track. Mind mapping takes effort. And your version may vary, like I said, from what I described, but having that visual component to go back to time and time again can help keep you focused. Remember, the old saying, out of sight, out of mind, that implies here in a big way. Keep that statement and your mind map handy, and they will help you stay on track and make what look like big, difficult tasks look like manageable actions that before you know it, you will be getting ahead of steam going, and you will realize you can do this and it's actually happening. Let yourself feel that excitement. The journey is underway. Remember to celebrate milestones you have set and accomplished, no matter how big or small they may seem. It's okay to celebrate what seems like a tiny achievement. Anything that you do to move forward is worth feeling good about. If you listened to the last episode about how important your thoughts and words are, then you will also recognize the negative aspects creeping in on your path to success. And you'll be able to control that pitfall, and your goal mind map will evolve into bigger and better goals. And those dreams that you thought were impossible will become reality. This technique will also help you stay focused on moving forward. But some people need to see all the dots connected in a neat order as they go. I can promise you, most of the time, the dots won't always all connect until your dream is realized. Here is Steve Jobs on that very subject.
The first story is about connecting the dots. Let me give you one example. Reed College at that time offered perhaps the best calligraphy instruction in the country. Throughout the campus, every poster, every label on every drawer was beautifully hand calligraphed. Because I had dropped out and didn't have to take the normal classes, I decided to take a calligraphy class to learn how to do this. I learned about serif and sans serif typefaces, about varying the amount of space between different letter combinations, about what makes great typography great. It was beautiful, historical, artistically subtle in a way that science can't capture, and I found it fascinating. None of this had even a hope of any practical application in my life. But 10 years later, when we were designing the first Macintosh computer, it all came back to me. And we designed it all into the Mac. It was the first computer with beautiful typography. If I had never dropped in on that single course in college, the Mac would have never had multiple typefaces or proportionally spaced fonts. And since Windows just copied the Mac, it's likely that no personal computer would have them. If I had never dropped out, I would have never dropped in on that calligraphy class, and personal computers might not have the wonderful typography that they do. Of course, it was impossible to connect the dots looking forward when I was in college, but it was very, very clear looking backwards 10 years later. Again, you can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. You have to trust in something. Your gut, destiny, life, karma, whatever. Because believing that the dots will connect down the road will give you the confidence to follow your heart, even when it leads you off the well-worn path. And that will make all the difference.
Trusting your instincts, like Steve Jobs was talking about there, is key. As you follow your goal mind map, stay in tune to those instincts, your inner voice, and let yourself realize that your past experiences can be so valuable as you go. That is why when I hear someone say, why do I need to learn that, whatever it is, thing in school or at one of your first jobs, you might not realize it at the time, but any experience you've had can be put to use in the future. And as you are following that goal mind map, trust that your instincts will help guide you, and you will see the possible pitfalls or be able to handle any pitfalls that do come your way. If you don't want to start with goal mind mapping, then try a simpler approach like the 30-day experiment. Commit to trying a new habit or activity for 30 days to see how it impacts your life. Choose a positive habit like daily meditation or journaling or reading about a subject that you are interested in, and stick to it for 30 days. At the end of the 30 days, Reflect on the changes you've noticed in your life, your thinking, your health, etc. Let that be a starting point for a new 30-day experiment. And before you know it, you may be onto something that will excite you, and that why you were struggling with, or the what to do after the why, will become evident, and an exciting new journey begins. Another technique that can be useful in creating what your next steps will be is the idea of creative visualization. Again, going back to previous episodes where I talk about mindful meditation, getting in touch with your inner self here is so important. Get alone, really let your mind focus on what your dream and your purpose is. Visualize yourself achieving your goals in vivid detail. Visualize your success and how you will feel once your dreams become reality. Understanding how you want to feel when you start realizing your dreams can be the motivation you need to want to get there. Tell yourself that the feeling of succeeding, whatever that means to you, can and will make you feel fulfilled. Once you have attained the success or achieved your dream, this may further motivate you to help others on their journey. Giving your knowledge and support to others as you go will also give you a greater purpose, and you will realize that helping others succeed will only help us all get to a better place in life. Don't keep your knowledge and skills to yourself. Share them, and that good karma will come back to you in many ways. You can visualize both the success and how you got there, along with helping others on their path as well. Another technique that could spin off of the creative visualization idea is writing a letter from your future self to you now. I know this could sound a bit corny, but think about it. This exercise could really force you to not only visualize your future success, but you can include details on what it took for you to get to that point. Include as many details as you can think of, and that can truly help you plan the path ahead. Again, this needs you to have an open mind to the process, but you may have had more knowledge about what you are about to embark on than you thought you did. And this can be a great way to visualize how much you really know. All of this can be done by practicing mindful goal setting. You can combine techniques of mindfulness we learned in previous episodes with goal setting to ensure that your goals are aligned with your inner values and desires. Try spending a few minutes meditating on what you truly want before setting your goals, and this can help you set more meaningful and achievable objectives. Combining this then with the goal mind mapping, and that fear of starting and getting on your journey will dissipate into excitement and focus on what lies ahead. All of this is in you. You just need to have faith in yourself, the courage to move forward and face any difficulties that lie ahead, and before you know it, the dreams you never thought would come true will come true. So, what do you think? I'd love to find out. Here's how to get a hold of the show and let us know. These are in the show notes, but as always, here they are. You can message the show from each episode on various platforms. I know Spotify can do this. Just look for the send us a text message link, and you can shoot me a message that way. You can email us at newvisionoldways@gmail.com. I'll say that again, newvisionoldways@gmail.com. You can also find us on Twitter, now X, obviously, at newvisionoldway. There's no S on that, at newvisionoldway. Check out the New Vision Old Ways YouTube channel. Type in New Vision, one word, Old Ways, one word, and you can please subscribe. It is free and will show support for the show. It really means a lot and will help the show grow on YouTube. And then you can also find us on Facebook. Just type in New Vision, one word, Old Ways, one word, podcast, and you should easily be able to find us. And as a reminder, these are growing platforms for us, expanding all the time. So we need your help to get the flow going with the community. And last but not least, if you could do me a massive favor, subscribe to us, like us, follow us, leave a review on whatever platform you found us on. That would be so appreciated. That will also help secure guests that we will be booking in the future. As I told you before, season 2 is going to have a few surprises along the way, and I truly hope you are enjoying it. I can't wait to get your input, and I also can't wait until we get together for the next episode of New Vision, Old Ways. Until then, be safe, be cool to each other, and let's change the world. This episode of New Vision, Old Ways has been engineered and produced by TKM Productions and your host, Tony Marinaccio.